When you go to an improv show, you will spend the night laughing because everybody on stage believes in one thing: yes and. If one of the other players says something, in their mind they agree to it and add to it. No matter how outrageous the suggestion is, they will roll with it because that's what improv is. It's taking what was said, adding to it, building to it, making it better. At a D&D table for players, yes and is your bread and butter. That is how you as the party will create the story. You agree to it, you move on, because if you don't, the story goes nowhere. No decisions get made, nothing happens. So yes and as players is what you want to do. As dungeon masters though, yes and is great. It helps you keep the player's agency and their decisions having an effect on the story. But there's something else you should do. Yes, but. Yes, but allows you to control the yeses. Tweak it a little bit. Yes, you can do it, but instead of this, this happens. You can control those yeses to try to minimize the shenanigans in the world. But they're players, let's be honest. Shenanigans are going to happen. But the biggest weapon you have in your arsenal is the word no. DMs don't say no enough, and they should. So many times you should say no as a DM. That's what today's DM tips video is all about. Hi, my name is Rich. I'm a first-time DM. Let's talk about no. When and how and why the Dungeon Master should say that two-letter word that no player likes. The first step in a DM saying no is at session 0. Session 0 is where you establish the guidelines and rules for the table, your world, and your game. Even though it's 5e or Pathfinder, it is still your game, and the rules are only guidelines. So the session 0 is where you establish what your no's are. No, no elves are allowed in this campaign. They don't exist in this world. No, silvery barbs is not allowed. No, create water will not allow you to create water in somebody's lungs. By establishing this at session 0, you give the players a chance to walk away if they don't like what one of your no's are. And that's perfectly fine. Not every player will be good for your table and vice versa. So, using session 0 to establish your hard no's makes life easier 60, 70, 80 sessions from now. You could be 4 years into the campaign and you've never had to argue about create water working like that because you established it way back when. So use your session 0 to say no. Before we get into the real meat of this video, which is when and how to say no when a player asks to do something in the moment, let's have a discussion with Advertising Rich and today's sponsor. Take it away, Advertising Rich. This video is brought to you by Dice Envy. You can never have enough dice, and if someone tells you otherwise, don't believe them. And the folks at Dice Envy have all sorts of dice to choose from: polymer, metal, stone, and glass, as well as monthly subscriptions, along with mystery dice sets and dice in different shapes than normal. They also have dice trays and even inspiration coins. So, click the link in the description to go to Dice Envy to let them know the Laughing Tavern sent you. Thanks to Dice Envy for sponsoring this video. Thank you, Advertising Rich. As always, you're the man. So, how do you say no when a player asks to do something? It is very easy. Think to yourself, does it actually make sense that that could work in your world? Will the bard be able to convince the king to give up his crown? Hell no. So when he asks to do it, when the bard asks to do that, you say no, you don't even let the roll happen because it will not matter what they roll. The king's never going to give up his crown to some little bard coming in off the street. The halfling wants to jump across the 50-foot chasm. Probably not. So I would say no, you can't do that just based off of your basic creation of a halfling. Do you have a magic item? Do you have a spell? Can the barbarian pick you up and toss you? So no but also works. You don't just have to say no. You can say no but. Come up with a other solution or a different way for them to work and make it work within the world. The world acts like our world for the most part, except it's got more magic and dragons. So it's up to you as the DM to determine what you will allow to happen in your world and what is possible. If something's not possible, say no and don't let the roll happen. That's the hardest part about being a DM, is you don't want to take away the player's agency and the player's decisions. However, sometimes you just have to. The player can't do certain things. It's just not going to work. So say no. Players are creative, very creative and innovative. Especially if you have veteran players at your table, they know the loopholes and the way certain items combined will work together. So sometimes you as a DM will have to just say, no, you can't do something like that. I understand it's how it is a loophole, but no, I'm not allowing it. That's not how the spell is written. Thankfully, a lot of those little loopholes were fixed in 2024. The writing in 2014 was not always that great, especially when it came to spells and items. 2024 rules, they did fix a lot of stuff, but players are still creative and there's still loopholes. So sometimes you just have to say no. However, there is the rule of cool. You can always let something happen once. As a DM, you can always say, you know what? Okay, today, for right now, this one time only, go for it. Let's see what happens. But going forward, it's not going to work like that, because you don't want your player to always be able to do that, because once a player latches onto something, they'll always use it that way. So say no unless you want to use it once. And be firm. Stick with it. The player may cry, the player may argue, but it's your table. No's got to stick. No's have to be the final say on a matter. When you do say no at the table, don't just say no and move on. Don't be that kind of dungeon master. Give the player a reason why you said no. Give them an explanation. No, I don't allow that at my table. No, that's not how it's written. No, because it doesn't work. It would do this. Give them a reason why you are saying no. Most players, especially more veteran players, will understand and go with it. Thankfully, I have a great table. The players ask me stuff all the time, and I've said no. No, it should have been done last round. Think about it for next time. Or no, it's too late. We've already moved on. Or no, I'm sorry, I can't do it. That would cause this, and this to happen, and that's not going to work right here. So say no, but give an explanation why. Try and say yes and. Try and say yes but as much as you can. But Dungeon Masters, you need to say no more often. Say no to rolls. Not everything requires a roll. Not everything is possible. So you shouldn't have players roll for it. So say no. Saying no helps you rein in and keep the outermost boundaries of the game together. Always saying yes and, always saying yes but will push the boundaries of the game and your world and your campaign to their limits and past. Dungeon Masters have to say no to keep those limits, to keep the game functioning as intended and your world functioning as you want it. Yes, it is the player's story, but it is still you pulling the strings and creating the environment. So you have to make sure that what you create will work with what the players can do. Once they go off the rails, it's going to be hard to create something down the road because they've broken the game. They've broken the world. So say no, but be nice about it. As always, like and subscribe. I'm still shooting for 500 subscribers by the end of this month. If this is July 2025, still shooting for it. So please help me get there. As always, be nice to each other, be kind to each other, and accept each other.